that's how socialism and just any other secret police in every country worked. It's not that the police were that efficient. It was like every Karen took it upon themselves to become an agent for the government for free.
What do you
And all
think about them saying that Karen is a racist term for a white woman? I figured you have
man,
an opinion on this, so.
I find I saw a meme and somebody said even saying that is pretty much the most Karen thing you can effing say. It's totally insulting. It's ridiculous. And understand, they don't say Karen because you're white. They say Karen because you're you're something way worse that they want to call you that starts with the letter C. And that's it, regardless if you're a white woman or a dude that are showing Karen-like tendencies. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And talk about just wanting to be a victim. How's this? Stop being a B word and you wouldn't be called a Karen.
Yeah, I watched the video where it was this kid's birthday. He was like a 6-year-old birthday, and he can't have a birthday, but he was really into cars. He likes cars. So the dad contacted a local car group that had all supercars,
Nice.
and they drove all the supercars around, and he let the neighborhood know, and the whole neighborhood was out, they're waving and everything. Some Karen comes out and stands in front of the road and they're upset. This is not the place for traffic, blah, blah, blah. So she called the cops.
Mm-hmm.
The
What the
cops
cops
showed
say?
up. The cops showed up, and I guess her husband got really upset and pushed one of the cops, and then she pushed one, and they all got arrested.
Nice.
So the
Can't
next
get better than
weekend,
that.
they all came back, and they're like, "Oh, they're not coming out." They're all revving the cars in front of the house.
Blowing the horns in front of her house.
Basically, yeah. And all the neighbors were out waving again.
Well, we laugh at it now, or just shake our heads at social media, put a sad face. But that's how socialism and just any other secret police in every country worked. It's not that the police were that efficient. It was like every Karen took it upon themselves to become an agent for the government for free.
Yeah, I mean, shit. You know what? Um, if you want to social distance. I have nothing against if you want to wear a mask. If you want to wear gloves, you want to wear a glove, and it might even be a good idea to do all that. But
Yeah.
where I draw the line at is when the government mandates it.
I, I I think the most frustrating thing for me is the realization of how many people in your social circle are actually Karens. Especially if you're someone like us who's deep in the 2A community. A lot of the stuff we do are 2A centric. A lot of the people that follow our pages are 2A. And then you find out the very same people that support Second Amendment and continually tell people you can't trust the government explicitly 100% and want to turn people in because they don't follow what the government says.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand. It's people who don't like police calling the police. It's like, make up
Dude.
your damn minds.
Oh, well, I think it's that contradiction that a lot of people don't get. Now, I'm one of those dudes that how do I put this? I work with elements of law enforcement. I think that's the best way I could keep it vague. But I'm not a biggest fan of law enforcement. Why? Because like anybody else, if you enjoy eating sausage, do not get a job at a sausage factory. And what you'll find out is there's a large percentage of police officers that are not good cops. I mean, they're just not even good people. And I think because of the power that you get to exert as a police officer, I think, most jobs people say 10% suck. Just 10% of the people at that job aren't good for that job, shouldn't have that job. I think because of police officers and the power they have, I think it's more like 20%. I really do. And then there's the other people that won't say anything about a bad cop that are police officers. They know the dudes are corrupt. They know they suck. They know they overstep their bounds. And they themselves won't say anything because they don't want to be turned against. They don't want to have their brothers and sisters in uniform turned against them.
It's the
So
thin blue line type thing.
yeah, I call it the dim blue line, because if you get rid of the bad actors, you won't be making so many national stories when one of them finally does something that gets caught on video and gets you all in trouble. But I think so when that happens, now it's an even larger proportion of people that aren't good cops because they won't tell on the bad cops. So it puts you in a jacked up position. So I don't run around going, all cops are brave, all cops are great. I'm saying there's 10 to 20% of cops that do a good job every day that have to drag the rest of them and carry the rest of them. That's what I feel. But I still don't believe that the dude who's worked for 20 years is going to give up his pension because because he refuses to violate a constitutional order.
Yeah, that
I mean,
one.
excuse me, an unconstitutional order.
Yeah.
Apologies.
One thing, Kathleen is gonna wear all tight rubber clothes, and I don't think that's the. I think she's in the. I think you're in the wrong chat tonight, Kathleen. The rubber clothes. No, just joking.
Okay, get the gimp.
Pulp Fiction. Bring out the gimp.
Bring out the gimp. He got pulled over in a white neighborhood, in
Yeah,
a
he
black
did.
neighborhood, while being white.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
because
like, "Why
usually,
are you here?" Like,
yeah,
I'm a fucking American. That's why. Be
because
where
usually
the
white
hell.
dudes roll through black neighborhoods for drugs or companionship.
What do you mean by companionship, Tony?
They're just looking for a friend for a very short amount of time.
Having a little conversation. Maybe a.
A little love and tenderness.
I know Kathleen. I know Kathleen said she had to carry and park on her property because she felt entitled. Okay. Oh, okay. Let's talk about entitled people really fast before you get back into the gun stuff. I live where I live at. I live in a place called Ashburn, in the Brambleton section of Ashburn. If you're from Northern Virginia, DC region, you know Ashburn. And we have some of the most entitled people in the world here. I didn't grow up rich or anything, but a lot of these people did.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, I mean, I kept my wife didn't grow up rich either. I kept my, I guess my middle class roots. And this upper middle class to rich people, man, they just piss me off. And I just, like a lady wrote the other day on our message board about, I saw a kid chasing a rabbit. That's how serial killers start out. It's like a kid was running after a rabbit. So I got really pissed her off. I wrote back and said, "No, just tell them next time just use BB gun."
Yeah, you don't have to chase it. You can just shoot it in the head.
Yeah, but she was so upset about these kids chasing a rabbit, and she's like, "I had a strong talk to them, but I think their parents need to talk to them too." I'm like, "Are you freaking kidding me?"
Well, I think what you found was somebody that projects their own feelings upon other people, and maybe you need to check her out more deeply because that chick's a serial killer or wants to be one.
Yeah, I think she's just a Karen.
No, she's just listen. I think this whole Karen thing came about, and it just grew from the "I'm okay, you're okay" thing from the '60s and '70s, where you just didn't check someone for their stupidity, and it's just grown out of hand at this point, and nothing is stupid anymore. You can go out in public and say the dumbest things. Like in the '50s and the '60s, you said something, somebody turn around and tell you to shut up and sit down, and then they'd punch you in the mouth. Well, we can't do that now, and there's a lot of people in dire need of the prescription of a punch in the mouth.